Hey there, I'm BogdanBudaca and welcome to my channel. Thank you for joining me for another mind workout. I hope that you're staying indoors and that you keep safe and you keep learning. So today I thought I could show you a bit of what I'm working on at the moment. I just wanted to get my hands dirty with a bit of Cassandra DB, and I thought I could use that with a very small full stack application. So what I mean by that is having an Angular front end, a springboot backend, and also using an instance of Cassandra DB but in a Docker container. So this would be something very small, very minimalistic. We'll just have a basic read and a basic write, and yeah, let's dig right in. I already have some stuff ready here at hand, so it would be easier for us. I did go ahead and initialize an Angular application because it takes a while, and also I got a Spring Boot project initialized with the Spring Initializer web app. Basic configuration Java Gradle. We just need a couple of dependencies here. So Spring Web for our web service and the Spring Data for Apache Cassandra so we can communicate with our database. I did go ahead and also pull the Docker image for Cassandra. So just Docker pull Cassandra and we can get that up and running in a container. We would use the command here. So we would call our container instance dev Cassandra. We would be using the default port 9042. So now we have our container running. Here we go. So I want to initialize a bash session to it. So I have the command here. So now we're inside the container. Sorry about that. So CQLSH to start the Cassandra CLI. So we probably, most definitely we have only our default key spaces, the initial key spaces. We can create the key space, have the command here. We will call it cars. And for its configuration, we will use a simple strategy, which basically means this is for development purposes, or this is only applied to a rack or one data center. Replication factor of 1, so we won't be replicating our data to any other nodes. And also durable writes false, so we won't be turning on commit log. So we can use the command. And now we can see the new key space cars. Use cars. We have no tables, of course, and we can create a table. We can name it car. We will be using a car data object. We have 3 columns, so the ID, which is the primary key, and of type UUID, and 2 text data types for make and model. So let's input the command. So now we have our table. It's empty, of course, but we do have the columns ready. So the database part is done and everything is ready. We can go to the backend. We do need a bit of configuration here. We have this over here, so we need to define the key space name, the contact, the local host for the local host, the port, and data center 1, which is just default. So we just need to input that here in our application properties. So let's make a model object. So car, and here we do need a couple of Cassandra specific annotations. So the first one is table, and this would basically sorry about that. So this would basically map between our car data object and our car table in the database. Okay. So we do have, let's have some properties. We do need another annotation, so primary key, and this will just signal that the ID will be our primary key. So ID of type UUID, string make. String model doc. So make these private. Okay, so alt insert the IntelliJ shortcut. Let's build a constructor for all 3 properties. Let's also make some getters and setters. And let's also overwrite the class object to string method. We would have our own. Okay, so this is our data object. It's basically done. And now let's have a repository. This will actually be an interface repository. So this will be our interface to the database. Our repository. and this one extends Cassandra repository. Yep, here we go. And this also takes a couple of types, car and UUID. And this is ready, and this will provide us with all the methods that we need to interact with the database, so like find and save. And also if you want to define any custom methods like find by name or find by ID, this will be the place to do it. And now we also need the controller. Car controller. So here we need the REST controller annotation, so we could signal that this is our web service, and we need to bypass the implicit security that comes with Spring Boot and enable requests from all origins for our demo. So we also need to inject our car repository here. Okay, we can actually use the auto-wired annotation to have it injected, have the bean injected. Here we could make our methods. So let's go with the get method, so the get mapping. For the path, let's use /cars, for example, public response entity of type list cars, retrieve cars. See, I have that right? Retrieve cars. Okay. Okie doke. So this is our method. Let's use a try catch here. So what we need to do is use our car repository, and we use the find all method that provides. And here we iterate through the result. And for each result, we add it to our cars list. Okay. Oh, but we do need a cars list actually. So list cars, arrays list. I got ahead of myself, so I thought, sorry about that. So I thought it's already done. Okie doke. So we have our cars list populated. We just use the double colon notation here and use the add method on the list class. And now let's check, for example, if cars is empty. I don't know what's going on with my voice. Sorry about that. Cars is empty. We return new response type, response entity. Sorry, this would be null. Return nothing. Status no content. Otherwise, we just return new response entity, a new response entity, and here we return the cars and HTTP status. Okay, good. So that's our try. Make the catch. Exception E. Here we return new response type, and we would return null. And let's go with status. Okay. Internal server error sounds good. Okay. Okay, doke. Sorry about that once again. Okay, so this should be our get method. Okay, let's have a post one as well. So same path, cars. Here we would have public response entity car. We would need to pass in our argument. So an object car of type car. Here let's use a try catch again. So here we would have car. So we just use underscore so we can differentiate from the object that we get as the argument. So we're having an underscore car object of type car equals to car repository dot save. Here we would pass, oh, one thing I forgot. So we do need here another bit of annotation. Request body. Okay, so this signals that there's a request body coming, and it's the car of type car. Okay, so here we would create a new object, and we would just take the properties from the argument car, get ID, get make, and get model. Okay, here we would return new response entity. Here we will return car and HTTP status created, let's say. So catch exception key. Here we would return new response entity, return nothing, and HTTP status would be, let's say, expectation failed. Okay, so this should be our controller. We have the get and the post, so retrieving cards and saving a car. So actually use car here. So let's try to run the application and see if it works. So fingers crossed. This is very new to me as well, so we're learning as we go. So let's see if it starts okay. Okay, so it started. I do have the postman ready here. So let's try to get the car. So no content, that's okay. Here, car, let's try to add, for example, Ford Mustang. Car, expectation failed. So there's something wrong with our post. Slash here, nope, that's not it. Okay, so something's wrong here. Post mapping, we have car path, response entity car, save car, the request body, which is car of type car, right here, car repository save, new car ID, get make model, soak, response entity car, something happens, turn, okie doke, so something wrong. And try to debug this a bit. So try to see what happens when we actually let's just print to the console the exception, see if we get any hints there. I'm probably missing something, I'm not sure what it is. Let's have a look. Controller. I am missing something. Okay, so this started. Let's have a go. Expectation failed. Let's see what we get in the console. Inserting to car values all Ford for column ID. Oh, okay. Oh, so yeah, because we're not actually sending any UID, so we need to generate one for the database. So I'm hoping this is it. Remove this line. Let's run it again. See if this works now. Fingers crossed again. I hope this was it. So, see, loading back up. Okie doke. Oh, it's good to stretch sometimes. Okay, so it started. Let's see if it works. Oh, 201 created, and here we go. And we also do have our ID here. Okie doke. So here we should actually see our car, and we do. And of course, we can also see it here without a doubt. So this is good. So our methods and our backend works. They work. Sorry about that. So now we could actually get a front end going. So for that, I already do have the Angular application running, which is over here. So let's go ahead and start hammering away at this. Just gonna remove all this. on a terminal. Oh, I don't want to see this. Okay, so I want to go to the app folder. Okay, and I want to make a new component called cars. So ng, G is for generate, C is for component, and cars is the name of our new component. So I also want a service here, ng service cars. Let's go with cars. Okie doke. So make our service over here, private HTTP client. Doke. Oh, come on. Looks like I have to import it by hand because Visual Studio isn't picking it up. Angular common HTTP. So yeah, I hope that's right. Okie doke. So retrieve cars. This will be our first method. Here return this HTTP. So here we just injected the HTTP client service that comes with Angular, and now we're going to use it. Oh, one thing I forgot, we need a car model. So export class car here EOR tab constructor. Actually, I could have just typed that out. Could have been simpler. So here we need our properties. So let's go with ID. Let's actually have it as a string, because I don't think there's any other data type that we can use right now. TypeScript string model. So actually we need commas here. So public. Okay, so we do have our model now, and use it here. So the data type will be an array of cars. So, and here we need the URL. So here we go. Let's import it. Okay. Here, save car. We're just passing the car as an argument. Return this HTTP post, not patch, post. Oh, sorry about that. I'm having a terrible time typing today. Post. Post an object of type car. Here actually, and pass the car object. Okay. Okay, so these should be our two methods for the service. So we just make a get and a post request to our URL, and for the post we also send the car object. So having that done, we can go ahead and insert it here, inject our service here, our cars here, retrieve. Actually, we need a cars here. So a variable cars of type array of cars. Import car. Turn this car service. So, and we use here, and type here, but we do need that parenthesis. So we would run it in the ng-on-init lifecycle hook for our component. So whenever our component gets created, we would also run the method and populate the cars array. We got here that I need to subscribe. This would be an asynchronous operation, so it's like a promise object, and we need to subscribe to it. So the code will just continue until, so we will just get the response whenever it's ready. Result, and we use a lambda function here, and we pass the result this.cars. So here we should have our retrieve cars method using our service, and we just pass the result to our cars array. And here call our app cars component. Open up the dev tools. Oh, we need HTTP client here in imports, client module. So import it as well. Works now. Okay, so we do see our component here, and just to render our cars, we can use Angular helper of ng4 to iterate car. Do I need a let? I don't think I do. Car of cars. Make sure the proper name is spelled correctly. Okay. I think I do need let car of cars though. Yep, okay though. Here we can just bind to it. We would have car, and we can pipe this as a JSON format. So let's see if this actually works. Yep, so we do have our car here. Our test car, the Ford Mustang. Okie doke. So we have a cars. Breaklines here. Here. Car. Make a form here. Let's try to get that done. We would need to use the ng. So we would have a method, for example, save car, that we would use here. Make it. Save car. Here, and car service, save car. Here we would pass in the car here. Here we would also initialize it. New car. Here. Just you will see in a moment why we're initializing it. So we would just leave everything blank. Just pass this .car here, and again we subscribe, and we send the data to the console. Okay, see if that worked. Okie doke. So let's carry on with our form. So we have the save car method here. We would have here a label. Let's call it make. the break line, another label here, type model, okie doke, and here we would have an input and one here as well. So this looks, oh, it looks okay. Could actually add one more break line here. It will be even neater or more spaced out a bit. So we do need some things here. So type be text, both type text, and we need to double bind here. ng model to r. Just using Angular helpers, you can look these up. Here we need name, isn't working. Oh, I think we need to import forms as well. Import form. Angular forms. Not sure. Forms. Let's have a look here. Import form builder. And add it to our imports. Bunch of errors here. Model. Let's have a look on Google. This is about forms module we just had. Oh, we need forms module. Oh, okay. Let's get out. Nope. Okay, so here now. It looks. Oh, I didn't actually put in any text here. So save, for example. Let's have here. So let's see if this actually works. So are we Enzo, for example. So this seems to be working. So let's check. Oh, there we go. So there's our new car. So here we're getting the cars, here we're saving a car, so we're just, here we're reading from the database, here we're writing to the database. So let's have another one. Tesla, make model S for the model, and object, we refresh, there's our car. Okay, so I think we managed to do what we set out to do. So we have our database running in the Docker container. We have a springboot backend where we have our controller, and we have also an Angular frontend where we can render the cars and also save a car back to the database through the controller. Okay, so I'm also going to put the code up on GitHub, and I hope this was as interesting for you and as fun for you as it was for me. And please give the video a like and subscribe, and I'm looking forward to your comments in the below section, and yeah, I'll see you around.